I turned the gas pedal to boil my coffee and waited for my coffee to boil. And I saw at the base a blue flame. And I thought about when I was walking, sick in a graveyard, and I came upon a little red dog who told me a story. The little red dog told me about how he was flying back to New York from Yosemite and had been sitting, traveling by air and by ground, and was sitting now in a daze. And the little red dog had made a logistical nightmare with the bakery he worked for, which meant he was landing at 6 a.m. and had to be at work at 6:30 a.m. And when he landed on the ground before rushing about, he thought maybe he should text the little blue alien he had been seeing before he left, who he'd met in a wrestling ring, a 10-second pin, but he decided it was best to be coy. And so he was rushing around from the sky to the sky shuttle and to the ground, where he figured out he could either take the A train or the J train. And so the little red dog chose the A train, probably because of some subconscious connotation with the letter A and firstness. But the second he got onto the train, he saw his own shadow, the shadow of a dog. And somehow he knew from this floor form that he should have taken the J train all along. And then he sat down on the subway and was looking out from the A train window at the New York sun, and he was smiling because it was so nice to be back in the city, until another red dog sitting across from him threw a piece of paper towards him. And the little piece of paper landed on him, and the little red dog smiled as if they were playing a game he didn't understand. And then the bigger red dog threw another piece of paper, and the little red dog really didn't understand the game. And then the bigger red dog spit on the little red dog's bulky bags, and the little red dog thought, I really should have taken the J train. And the little red dog got up and moved down to the other side of the train that now seemed all too small. And then the bigger red dog got up too and walked over to him and hit the little red dog in his dog face and kicked him in his dog arm and said, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you." And the other animals on the train scattered, and it was a moment of teetering between the two of them, a chain link of potential energy. And the little red dog felt a new blood released in his brain, and all that was real became real, and all that was fake fell away. And the bigger red dog walked up and down the train saying, "I'm going to kill him, I'm going to kill him." And it was reassuring in a way for the little red dog to be confronted with his own death, because he now knew he didn't want to die. And they came to the next stop, and the little red dog left out the door like he was leaving, but then ducked into the next car, which was mundane. And he watched for the other red dog, and waited with his new blood and his new fear to see if the man would come to kill him. And the little red dog thought it wasn't every day you see another red dog in the train, and he thought maybe in some way they were brothers. But the other dog never came, and the little red dog walked off the train, thinking it was better to be hit by a dog on the train than a dog driving a train. And the little red dog rushed to work, and on his way he saw his shadow again, and it was a shadow of a half-dog. And holding his arm occasionally while he baked bread, today the little red dog had to train a new baker who was an owl. And the little red dog tried to be nice and friendly and showed the owl how to bake bread. And the little red dog felt on his body the pain of the A train. And then the owl said the little red dog was painfully awkward to be around, which was odd because the little red dog had always thought of himself as funny and charming. And then the little red dog went home, thinking about what had caused pain in the owl, and thinking the owl should have seen me if I'd taken the J train. And on the way home he got hungry, and he saw a pig up ahead, and the pig offered him pork chops, but the little red dog didn't eat pork chops because he didn't think he should eat anything that had been chopped. "I'll eat pork slices," he told the pig. And that night for dinner, the little red dog ate so much candy his heart began to beat fast, and the little red dog didn't have a sponge, so he washed his plate with his paw, and the little red dog's paws shake all the time. And then the little red dog washed himself and climbed into bed, when all of a sudden a rat walked into his roommate's room, and the little red dog's roommate, who was a frog, said, "Hell no, hell no," and the rat walked back into the hallway leisurely, thinking this was such a nice warm place to be. And the little red dog and his roommate got together and chased the rat out of his apartment with a broom and a bat, because the apartment was no place for rats. But the little red dog accidentally stepped on a rat and felt the rat's mass under his body weight, and the rat limped out the door, and the little red dog kicked himself and thought if only he hadn't taken the A train. And as the rat limped out unwelcome, finally the little red dog laid down on his bed to rest, when a mouse poked her head out of the wall and said, "Is the rat gone?" But the little red dog couldn't sleep, but for imagining his life on the J train, and because he didn't know if he'd be able to survive this life, and because all he wanted was to see the blue alien he had a true feeling for, and so he called her late at night, even though he had to be at work again at 6:30 in the morning the next day. And he rode the subway all the way up to Harlem to see her, and he was surprised how everyone on the subway could now kill him. And on the train he saw his shadow again, and the shadow was of a no dog. And he thought he needed to unstuff his chest of tissue paper, and he thought about how him and the blue alien, had initially met in a 10-second pin, and he couldn't see her in his mind, and he couldn't see into anyone's mind, and he often didn't understand why people talked to each other, and often looking at a face was like looking at bricks in a brick wall, and everyone in the subway could have always killed him, and the little red dog didn't know why there was so much pain and beauty and pain, and he got to her apartment with his pain still inside him, and they talked in her bed, the little red dog and the little blue alien together, and he really didn't mean to step on the rat, and he told her that, and she told him she had something to tell him too, and she told him that she had been seeing someone else, that she has feelings for another dog, but she has feelings for the little red dog too, and that the other dog that she's been seeing is much different, and that the other dog is green. And the idea of the green dog made the red dog's heart hurt, and he cursed himself to the core for taking the A train, but even though she was telling him about her feelings for another dog, she was telling him her feelings for him for the first time too. And she looked so sweet in her dress, and the little red dog didn't know if this would be the last time they saw each other on account of the pain in his heart. But he understood how she felt, and he also knew that if the alien had said she only wanted to see the red dog officially dating, the red dog would have felt a much slower horror creep in the other direction, and that the little red dog didn't know what to do. And he didn't know if he could see the alien anymore, but they talked deep into the morning, and then fell asleep for an hour or so, until the little red dog's alarm went off at 5:30 in the morning, and she woke up to his alarm too, and it was dark in bed, and neither of them said a word, but the little red dog put on his pants and shirt and went into the bed and hugged the blue alien goodbye, and they both knew that this might be the last time that they'd hug each other like this in bed. And he felt her wet alien cheek and against his face, and she cried in his arms. And then the little red dog pulled himself from her warmth, and they said to each other a few innocent words like, "Have a nice day at work," and "Sleep well." And then the coffee was done.